is it that I am expected to treat my parents' problems with a level of compassion that I was never given as a child?
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's Girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this conversation this woman just brought up, I just find this conversation very interesting and intriguing. Let me know your thought about this conversation down in the comment section. Love to know what you think about this conversation, like her stating about why do people expect her to treat our parents' problem with a level of compassion that she was never given. Go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. This got a couple of people to explain and talk about it and the way they understand, because I feel like it's really like a broader conversation to have. So let's go hear other people's thoughts on this, but go ahead and share your own thoughts, and then I will come back and share my thoughts about what I think about this.
I'm expected to treat my parents' problems with a level of compassion that I was never given as a child.
Let's talk about the phrase, I did the best I could. In my personal experience, anytime that I brought up to my birth mother all the shitty things that she did to me as a child and how they affect me as an adult, she would just tell me, well, I did my best. I did the best that I could with what I had. And that's supposed to excuse the abuse and the narcissism and the gaslighting and just never making me feel safe around her. That's the excuse. I did the best I could. But if I ever dared to tell her I did the best I could with literally anything when I was a child, she would have told me, you need to try harder. That's not your best. You need to do more. You can do more. You're not doing your best. You're being lazy. So I'm supposed to have compassion for you and all the things that you did because that was your best, and completely ignore how all the things you did affect me now as an adult, but my best is never enough.
I'm expected to treat my parents' problems with a level of compassion that I was never given as a child.
If I had to guess, I'd say that your parents were probably emotionally immature. Hi, I'm Jessica Frick. I'm a licensed therapist. This is what my account is all about, so follow me for more. If you're not already familiar with what it means to be emotionally immature, people who are emotionally immature generally struggle with regulating, recognizing, or even labeling their own emotions. Oftentimes this comes about as a result of generational trauma, but the reasons why is not important here. When people grow up and start to have kids, oftentimes they do so because they want to have children, but emotionally immature parents often have their kids as someone to rescue them or someone to take care of them. Because their kids are there to serve their needs and their ego, that means that when their kids are little individuals and struggling with their own problems with growing up and learning how to people, that's a burden for them. Either they don't know what to do with it, or they just don't think you should have those problems because you're meant to save them. So you don't get the love and care and compassion that you should be getting as a child because your parent is seeing you as either a problem to be solved or a burden. When you grow up, your parent is already expecting you to become their rescuer, which means that you have a role to fulfill. You are expected to show that same love, care, and compassion that you were never shown because that's what rescuers do. Another thing to know about emotionally immature people is they're very rigid in the roles that the people they're in their life play. If they see you in the role of rescuer and you instead step out of that, you shift to the role of abandoner. And emotionally immature people react really strongly when people step out of their roles, either flat out denying that it's possible or becoming emotionally reactive. So when you realize that you don't want to be your parents' emotional support animal and decide to make changes and set healthy boundaries for yourself, they're probably not going to react very well. All of this to say, this isn't your fault, and I hope that this information can help you to give yourself a little bit of grace and justification.
Is it that I am expected to treat my parents' problems with a level of compassion that I was never given as a child?
One of the biggest things I had to realize in therapy was that I was angry at my parents for what their parents did to them. And I was additionally angry because I was projecting expectations that I had placed on myself onto them. Namely that, well, because I was going to therapy to work through my bullshit, that, well, they should do the same thing because they're also adults. And yes, they absolutely should. But at its core, my parents are going to be themselves. They're not going to magically change into different people. If they wanted to do the work that I would like them to do, they would have already done it. And so I know that my parents are going to be themselves 100% of the time. It doesn't serve me to sit there and be angry about something that I already know is a constant. So because I know that them being themselves is a constant, I actually have a lot more power in our interactions because I already know how they're going to be. And so I can make sure that my response to situations is not so rooted in anger and rather more rooted in, I would simply like you to understand me. If you're unwilling to understand, that is okay. I will just make other decisions to maybe tailor our interactions to preserve my peace. And it sounds like a lot of work, but once you actually start to practice doing that, it actually makes life a lot easier because I'm now able to put a lot more effort and love into other interactions rather than just putting this residual anger that I have towards people that did something to me yesterday or 2 weeks ago or 10 years ago. It doesn't do you any good. And so that little bit of compassion you extend, people, again, if you're willing to do so, it really doesn't take that much away from you. And you actually end up with more control than you thought you had.
Why is it that I am expected to treat my parents' problems with a level of compassion that I was never given?
Because in many families and many cultures, parents see their children as a property and that the children are owing them something. I'm a mother of two. I brought these children into this world. It is my responsibility, my privilege, and my duty to teach them what's wrong and right. But to force them to be something that I want to project onto them, or force them to be something that I want to live through them, it's absolutely appalling. If I cannot show my children compassion, if I cannot show my children respect, if I can't show my children empathy, if I can't show my children patience or presence, I can't expect the same thing back as my children. We see on social media a lot of videos where people are making, as a comedy, which we chuckle and laugh at, parents coming at them with a belt, parents throw slippers at them, parents tell them they're nothing. When I was your age, I had 3 companies. When I was your age, I did this. Your cousin is so much better than you. Yes, we take that into stand-up comedy level and everything, and we do chuckle at it. But if you think it in reality, this is all abuse. A lot of children suffer, well, I should say adults suffer from Stockholm Syndrome when they say that, oh, I am so glad that my parents beat the crap out of me because it taught me to be a better person. And they actually have the audacity to disrespect you as a parent who never lifted a finger on your children, because they assume automatically that if you don't raise a hand on your children, if you don't show your children compassion, if you're strict with them, if you're always putting them down, like using some sort of a reverse psychology on them, that you're not raising good kids. So it's okay for them to come at parents who don't physically abuse their children and call it spanking or discipline. But if we speak up, then we are questioning somebody's parenting methods. The fact of the matter is that when it comes to compassion, when it comes to respect, when it comes to everything, as an adult, growing up and not receiving these things and feeling that you were abused as a child, you don't have any obligations toward people who were toxic for you. You have a timeline to heal, to enjoy your life. If your childhood traumas and childhood abuse is still affecting you, I really encourage you to seek help and speak to somebody, or do communication classes. I offer them constantly to help overcome those past demons that stops you from moving forward. But in general, I teach everybody in my classes, if it's group classes, if it's one-on-one classes, that you do not owe toxic people anything. You can be around your parents to a certain healthy level, but you're not forced in any shape or form to give them something they demand of you when they didn't give it to yourself. So again, if you need any help with these things, any of the people who are watching this video, remember there's help out there. You can contact those who can help and talk about it and see how you can keep a balanced and healthy dynamic with people, parents, cousins, uncles, anybody who have been in your life that taken away that compassion and empathy from you.
Put that in the comment section and share your thoughts, because that's what we do here. We have amazing conversations. So feel free to share your opinion, but please keep it respectful. You don't have to disrespect anybody for you to air your opinion. So let's be respectful, like in the comment section, like we always do. Okay. So for me personally, I feel like there's a whole lot of entitlement when it comes between the dynamic between a parent and a child. And a lot of parents really believe that they are entitled to their child, the life of their child, and they feel like whatever they say goes with that child, even when this child is an adult, but they feel like this child owes them something because they brought that child into this world. And I feel like a lot of parents, they forget and they don't think it through that this child that they brought, whether it's an adult or even a child, is that this person is a human being, and they have the way they are and they have the way they think and the way they will want to live your life. Rather than forcing down what you want for their life, why don't you teach them so that when they get to the point where they have to make decision, you trust the work you've done and impact in their life, that you know what, they're going to make better decisions. You're not scared, you're not on their case, you're not worried about them. But talking about the climate we live now, I just feel like there's really like this in everything, and that's why I would say really think hard before you have kids, because I feel like you can't really have it all. It's just like almost when you talk about parents that discipline and soft parenting, some people are totally against it, and it's fine. Like, you guys know how we do it here on my channel. I feel like everybody is not meant to do things. There's no a proper way of doing certain things, okay? So I don't see anything wrong with people having different style, different way of parenting or even raising the child. But ask yourself, does this work for a child, and is this going to benefit the child? Rather than that, I feel like most parents always think that what's going to benefit them as a parent. And also, I feel like a lot of parents had a lot of trauma that has been passed on. Like, I just feel like the great-grandparents pass the trauma to the grandparents pass it to the like, I just feel like it's a repeated drama that a lot of people have not come in terms to heal those trauma that we're just passing on. Because I've said it a couple of times, I feel like before you decide to have kids, I feel like you should know who you are, know your trauma, know your weakness, know your demons, know your strength, before you now know that, okay, this I'm going to have a human being, and then you'll be able to navigate it. But if you've not recognized your trauma and you've not healed from your trauma, I feel like you're still going to reflect or cause another trauma to this life, this human being you're bringing and having on this child. And that also brings that security blanket where parents have over their children and feel like the children should be on, like, you're mine, I own you, all those things. I really feel as parent or a parent to be, it's a conscious effort. You may not ever get it right. You may do all the things right in the book, and then the child will still turn out and don't like you. Like, there's no guarantee that when you have this child, then this child is going to be there for you, or this child is going to listen to you all their life. So for me, I just feel like the first thing anybody should do, go heal your trauma, know who you are, ask yourself, be honest with yourself, and don't live with society standard, what society expect of you, but truly ask yourself, why do I want a child? Why do I want a human being that I want to raise? Those questions, I feel like, will just bring a bigger picture of why you're doing what you're doing. And I feel like it's also going to reflect on how you heal on the child, and how you work on the child, and how you impact the child, because you're not reflecting or projecting your trauma on this child. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. So feel free to share your opinion, because that's what we do here. We have amazing conversations. So go share your opinion, but please keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have amazing conversation. So go down and share this video and leave a comment, okay? Please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Smash the like button, because that helps YouTube to push out my content, and that will be you supporting your girl. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.